Hey everybody, welcome back. When I last left you with this guy, we had just replaced these drive gears for the filament, only to find out that we still did not have any filament being extruded, and so went ahead and took apart the extruder assembly, as I think I showed you on those last videos, and we found that these pieces that hold the spring system in place were completely cracked through, and so there was no pressure being applied to the filament by the gear. So anyway, I went online, I contacted Bebo, tried to get their customer service to help, ended up getting a hold of someone via email. They directed me to an AliExpress store to buy a replacement extruder assembly. I asked them about a warranty. They said, send me your Amazon purchase for the printer. If it's within 3 months, we'll send you something new. But obviously this is over 3 months old. So no real support from Bebo. The Bebo replacement extruder assembly, I think it was like $15 plus shipping on AliExpress. But I was doing a little more research and I found these Micro Swiss extruders. They're made for, I think, the Flash Forge machine, but they fit on this one too with some minor modification. And they're all metal aluminum extrusion, CNC pieces instead. So I already put one on extruder number 2. I put extruder number 2 on already to see how it was going to work, and it seems like it's going to work. You'll notice I dropped out the hot end here. The elevation that the hot end is at normally is a little bit too high for this extruder assembly, so I had to drop it out, and ultimately we're going to have to drop both of those a little bit. I think that's going to be okay. We'll just have to put a little spacer back here for the Z-limit switch, and that should allow us to use this kind of upgraded extruder and fix our problem, basically. So the thing about these is because there's 2 extruders on this yoke here, we have to make sure that you get a left hand and a right hand one. So if you see on this package, this one says right hand right there. And so I already put the left-handed one on here. You can maybe see it. My finger is over here. I'll give you a more in-depth look at it in a little bit. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and put this right-hand unit on and then get it mounted up and then try to figure out what our new drop is on those hot ends and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. I'll show you guys these parts. So it comes with a new mounting plate and then your new spring-loaded lever arm, and then there is a little bag with a spring and a couple of bolts in it. So go ahead and take those out. Of their packages, and then I'm going to swing this around so you guys can see what we're doing here. So I'm going to put those guys over there, clear out all of this old extruder business. Okay, so this is the motor that came with the unit, new base plate, new mounting arm, and then we've got our spring and bolts here. So first thing we're going to do is take this old back plate off. There's only one remaining bolt here. Okay, set that aside. Now this new guy goes on, and it uses 2 bolts again. The small one goes in the upper right corner of the drive, on the right hand side at least. And then the other one is going to go through this lever arm and through the back plate and then into the motor. And then we got to get this spring in here also. So this is kind of a compound move here. I got the bolt threaded through. Spring I'm going to set over its 2 points there. And I'm just going to kind of compress it. Try to line up that bolt. Okay, I think I got it. And then doing this lefty, but tighten down this bolt right here. You'll see we got our spring there. Good amount of tension on the extruder. So now we should have plenty of grip for our filament as we thread it through this. I'll bend out. See, now we're definitely moving that drive gear. It's not just slipping by anymore. So that's the install on this part. Now we're going to put this guy back on the printer itself. Okay, so the first thing we got to do in order to actually do this, the set screw that holds the hot end up, we're just gonna loosen that guy so that the hot end can drop. And so this is kind of the tricky part. Trying to figure out where these things are going to live now. So what I'm thinking is we'll just mount them so that the top of the hot end is flush with this heat break here. So I'm going to grab something to kind of, this should work, I think. To level up against there. Okay. That should hopefully make it easy to level this later, just by keeping something constant there. Okay, so that's that part there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the unit off so that the fans aren't in my way. Okay. So then the next step of this is we got to take this motor, and then so the motor goes right here, right? And then we've got this cage and fan assembly. I'm going to put those guys on, and then there's 2 spacers, one for each bolt, that space the fan away, and then those guys go through the heat break there. And then in to the motor. And so if you don't drop the hot ends down, you'll never hit the bolts on the motor side. Okay, got that snug down. So I think we should be in business now. I'm just going to try to thread this piece of filament through. Obviously it's going to get blocked by the motor, but that's about how far it's going down. It's going down all the way through to the nozzle. So cool, I think we're good there. Now I do need to take this guy apart again so that I can put the hot end, I can actually attach the hot end properly, and that's kind of one of my biggest beefs with this 3D printer is the hot end set screw is not accessible when, you know, everything's on. Spacer fell out. Okay. So now I should be able to, let's see, I have to take this whole thing off, don't I, so that I can get my spacer in there properly. Just gonna set that guy back real quick, put my flat edge on there. And then I'm going to tighten up the set screw that holds the hot end in place. Okay. So now both of our hot ends are back on. I can go ahead and set this guy back in here. And lose the spacer in the process. Where did you go? Right here. Okay, this is the fun part. We actually got that on like the first try. That's pretty good. Usually that takes me about 8 tries. Okay, so now we've got both extruders, both motors back in place here. I'm going to plug the wiring harnesses back in, and hopefully I have them in the right spot. I think so. And then this little guy would be the last piece of the puzzle. I really don't like this thing either. Not really sure what good it does. You know what? We're just going to remove that for now because you don't even need it. It doesn't even do anything. Okay. So, let's fire this sucker up. We'll heat it up, get some filament loaded, and see if we've got what we need out of it. So I'm going to go over to preheat, extruder 1, get that up to 180, extruder 2, heat that up as well. Okay, so while the printer was heating up, I went ahead and got this top base plate on finally. That was a real pain in the butt, but we got it. And then I went ahead and just preloaded a couple things of filament into each extruder. And so I'm just going to go here now through the extrusion menu on the front of the printer, and right now we're on extruder 2. So the left side there, and we'll push some filament through that guy. There you go. You can see it start to come out. Hopefully you can see against my hand as a background there. So now we're starting to get some filament there. I'll switch this over to extruder 1, and I'll have it extrude some as well. And there it goes. Mega delay here. This is a very slow processor on this thing, and it only does commands in sequential order. It doesn't do anything at the same time. So yeah, hopefully you can see the white. It's just kind of blobbing on the tip of the nozzle right now. I'll pull it down so you can see it drop. So there you go. We've got filament being extruded from the nozzles again with the replacements. The last thing we need to do here is set up the bed, because we dropped the tips of the extruders, or of the hot ends, down a little bit. So we're going to want to try to figure out our new bed height here. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this menu, and I'm going to home the Z-axis. We'll just see where we're at here. I took the glass bed off because I think it's going to be about, you know, it'll definitely crack the glass, I guess, if the glass bed was on there. It would be way too shallow. So I'm hoping that it's not going to dent the aluminum, but I don't think it will. Let's see here. So it seems like it's just touching the aluminum. So basically our offset is about the thickness of the glass. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that back down here, and I'm going to go look for a I have some old prints that I think will be in that range. I'm going to measure our glass here. Caliber says just shy of 3 mils. So let me go see if I can find a dead print that will serve this purpose. Okay, I'm back, and I found this was a print that I had to stop partially through. I went ahead and cut a little piece out of the corner here, because I think this is basically exactly the same depth as our glass bed. So I'm going to put this little piece here back on the metal frame, right about where the limit switch hits. And then I'm going to home the printer again in the Z. and then see if it stops where we want it to, and then I'll put the glass bed back in, and then we will have to re-level the bed, I'm sure, before we get a real print started. Okay, stopped out there. Grab the glass. Yeah, I think that's gonna work well. Might need to go up just a touch, but I think that's within the tolerance of the leveling screws, so we should be in business. So I think I'm going to end the video here. I've done another video where we took this whole assembly apart and re-leveled the bed and all that stuff, so if you guys want to continue on with that, go give that a watch. But this video is getting kind of long already, so I'm going to call it here. Hopefully this was helpful, insightful, gave you a clue as to what might be wrong with your printer. If the gear replacement doesn't work, check those little plastic arms, because apparently they're not very strong. So anyway, if you found this helpful, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below if you've experienced something like this before or had something similar. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.